We are officially less than a month away from Selection Sunday. Who sits atop of the Big 12 Power Rankings for the week of February 19th? In today's video, I'll give mine as we know a top two have clearly emerged. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxwell here for the Back to 12 podcast. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell if you want to see more Big 12 videos here on the channel. About to hit 9,500 subs. Thank you guys so much for tuning in weekly to these power rankings. And this is a predominantly Texas Tech YouTube channel, but I promise we'll have plenty of Big 12 content, especially as March approaches, where we'll break down each and every Big 12 team in the NCAA tournament, their regional outlook, and their chances to potentially make a tournament run. So if you want to join one of the most engaging Big 12 communities and the most engaging Texas Tech community here on YouTube, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button to stay in the know right here all year long on the Back to 12 podcast channel. All right, let's jump right into this and go from 14 down. We'll start with West Virginia at 14. They were 0-2 last week, lost at TCU and lost to Baylor. Now, I have Oklahoma State and West Virginia flipped because for the longest time in these power rankings, I've had Oklahoma State at 14, but Oklahoma State, beat West Virginia. So got to make that change. Now, I've got UCF at 12. This one may rub people the wrong way, but it is what it is. They lost at BYU and then lost to Cincy at home. With what these teams in front of them did, it was hard not to have UCF this low in the rankings when it came down to it, right? So then you got Cincinnati at 11. As you can see at the bottom of your screen, they went 1-1 last week. They lost at Iowa State just like everybody does, and just like everybody loses at Houston. Looking at you, Iowa State. We'll talk about that game here in a little bit. But then the Bearcats also beat UCF, previously mentioned, down in Orlando. That's an impressive win. So I've got the Bearcats there at 11. Now, the reason being that I have K-State a little higher is just because their quality of wins in the Big 12, I think, is just slightly better. I mean, just slightly better than Cincinnati. That's it. Just slightly. Okay, so I have Kansas State at 10. And really, I think you could flip really 10, 11, and 12. So Kansas State, Cincinnati, UCF, put them in any order you want. Of those three, I get Cincinnati being 10. I would probably be okay with them flipping with Kansas State, but this is the order that I went for this week. Now, again, if you want to stay in the know on the Big 12 all year long, specifically in March, be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and hey, if you're a Texas Tech fan, seeing this channel for the first time, hit that subscribe button. We're talking about Texas Tech men's basketball and football all year long right here on the most engaging Texas Tech community on YouTube in the Back to 12 podcast channel. All right, without further ado, from 5 to 9, starting at number 9, we've got the BYU Cougars. They went 1-1 last week. They beat UCF, but then lost at Oklahoma State. That is a disgusting loss for the Cougars. I mean, there is nobody in Gallagher Arena there in Stillwater. I mean, you could hear a pin drop with how many people that are in that arena nowadays, which is incredibly sad after seeing Oklahoma State really be one of those top programs in the Big 12, it felt like, from a basketball standpoint for a while there. Anyway, you move on. You got Oklahoma at number 8. They were 0-2 last week, but they were close to Baylor. They were close to Kansas in some metrics, right? And I think when you look at what they've done, albeit against the lower teams in the Big 12, I think they need to be in this middle of the pack here. I'm okay with switching Oklahoma and BYU. I don't think you could have BYU any higher than 8th. I don't think you could have Oklahoma any lower than 9th. This is just the combo I went with. Now, a team that's really started to catch on a little bit is Texas. I say that after they just get absolutely shellacked at Houston. But what did I say earlier in the video? Everybody loses at Houston. Maybe Iowa State bucks that trend. Anyway, Texas at number 7. They went 1-1 last week. They beat West Virginia handily, I might add. Almost put a 100-piece on them. And then they lost at Houston. Now, the Texas Tech Red Raiders come in at number 6. They were 1-1 last week with a dominant win, almost a 30-point win over number 6 Kansas. And then don't let the score fool you. I understand they only lost by 8 at Iowa State, but it really didn't feel like that. It felt like they were down 15+ for a large majority of that game. And then they made a late run, did the Red Raiders, losing at number 10 Iowa State. At number 5, I have TCU 2-0 last week, albeit against two of the closer to bottom feeders in the Big 12, one bottom feeder for sure in West Virginia, and then a team more close to the bottom than the top in Kansas State. I think you could flip Texas Tech and TCU here, but I gave TCU the benefit of the doubt in the sense of they beat the Red Raiders and they, well, play them on Tuesday night at the time of this recording. So it would be interesting to see, and I think that that's an easy flip that people could make as well. Now, one more time, again, if you want to join a Big 12 community that's about to be 9,500 strong. That is crazy. Thank you guys so much for tuning in each and every week. And to Texas Tech fans out there, thank you again for subscribing. If you want to join the most interactive community for Texas Tech fans and one of the most interactive communities for Big 12 fans, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. And then I want to hear you guys' opinion on this because I'm going to put my top 4 down here at the bottom of the screen. And I think it's pretty clear this is the top 4. Maybe y'all disagree with me. Let me know down in the comments if you would disagree with my top 4, but here it is. I've got the Kansas Jayhawks at number 4. They lost last week to Texas Tech without Kevin McCullough. Then they went into Norman and beat Oklahoma, a top 25 Oklahoma team, even though they probably shouldn't have been ranked, but that's another story entirely. Anyway, Baylor, they come in at number 3 in my rankings. I think what Baylor is doing, they're starting to get hot at the right time, is Scott Drew's team. Now, I get it. They beat Oklahoma at home. You're supposed to win down there in your nice new shiny pavilion in Waco, and then you're supposed to beat a team like West Virginia. But Baylor is one of those teams that I think can seriously make a run in March with their veteran guards. They've also got a freshman that is just an absolute baller in Jacoby Walter. And then you've also got Misi at the center spot. So you think about what Baylor has, they're comfortably at number 3, in my opinion. And then the clear top 2. I don't think this is a debate. This is the clearest top 2 we've had all year for the Big 12 Power Rankings, bar none. This is not a debate. And they match up at the time of this recording tonight on Monday, February 19th, down in Houston. The number 10 Iowa State Cyclones come in at number 2 for me. They go 2-0 last week. They win at Cincinnati, albeit a little bit probably not to their liking in that regard. And then they beat Texas Tech. Now, Houston, they're Houston, man. They just seem to always dominate, right? When it comes down to it. They had an impressive win against Texas last week, and they're at the number 1 spot. And I think pretty firmly in the sense of you could talk me into maybe Houston being number 2. I don't think it would be a compelling argument, but I'd listen to you at least. I think it's very clear that Iowa State and Houston are the clear-cut 2 best teams in the Big 12, and I don't think it's a debate. I think those 2 teams, regardless of the outcome down in Houston between those 2 teams, those are the 2 teams that had the best chance to make the longest run in March. Next is Baylor, next Kansas, and then if we're being honest, probably Texas Tech if they get hot from the field, right? Because they're the best shooting team in the league, shooting nearly 40% in Big 12 play. But without an unequivocal doubt, those should be the top 2 teams in the Iowa State Cyclones and the Houston Cougars. Now, you tell me down in the comments below, who do I have too high? Who do I have too low in my Big 12 Power Rankings for the week of February 19th? Again, I think some people will probably not like where I have UCF, Cincinnati, Kansas State, and that's okay. I can see how you can switch those teams around, but I think one thing is for sure. The top 6 is pretty clear-cut, specifically the top 2. Then you know who 3 and 4 is. You can flip those, and then you could flip 5 and 6 if you want to as well. But it's starting to shape up, and the Big 12 is starting just to turn into that 12-round boxing match, right? And each of these teams that make the NCAA tournament are going to be well prepared for it because of this gauntlet that they go through that is called the Big 12. All right. I'm RC Maxfield reminding you one more time, be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell to join one of the most engaging Big 12 communities here on YouTube. Almost 9,500 strong people. I think we can get to 9,500 subs by the time this video is, let's say a day old. Let's just say a day. Come on, help a brother out, and let's get to 9,500 subs. And if you want to join this because of a Texas Tech community, well, it's the most engaging Texas Tech community here on YouTube. All you have to do is like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell to stay in the know all year long right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel.